Hi there, I'm Linda Jo Martin, known as Book Lady here on BookTube, and this is my October wrap-up, and November TBR, and a short life update. Hopefully I can make this video short, but we'll see what happens. So in the month of October, I read the rest of The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. I really liked that book, but it was read for Banned Book Week, and I can totally see why that book was challenged in school districts. So it was meant for teenagers, but I don't know, maybe you'd have to be a teenage boy to appreciate it. Anyhow, I recommend reading it, but just know that there are some things in there that could be considered obscene. So I've also been reading Lincoln in the Bardo, and I had a hard time getting through that, so I actually had bought the paperback, and then I got the audiobook as well, because one of the booktubers, Mindy, I'm sure most people know Mindy, shout out to Mindy, and I will put a link to her channel in the description of this video. Well, Mindy said that she had listened to the audiobook and that it was pretty good, so I decided to do the audiobook and listen while reading the paperback at the same time, and that's really helping. Difficult book, but also very interesting, also full of things that could be considered obscene. I don't know why writers write obscene stuff in books. It really kind of bugs me, but that's the way it is. Okay, so that's it for books that were on paper that I actually did some reading in this last month. I did a lot of audiobooks. I finished up Eleanor. Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I finished that on the first day of October. Then I read Cress, audio read Cress. Some people wonder if listening to audiobooks is really reading, but I do consider it reading, but I call it audio reading. That's my term for it. So I audio read Cress, which is the third book in the Lunar Chronicles, and I really liked it. It's a young adult novel series, but for some reason I'm just enjoying it so much every time I read one of them. So the next book after Cress was The Nickel Boys, which won the Pulitzer Prize this year, and it was a bit on the depressing side. Well written, of course, but I could not help but consider it depressing. It was about boys in a reform school situation. Very sad. The next one that I read, audio read, these are all audiobooks that I'm going through now. The next one was The Anonymous Girl, which I read for a PopSugar Reading Challenge prompt to read a book about a character who was in their 20s, and the girl in this book is 28. And after that I read a non-fiction, audio read a non-fiction called Why We Write About Ourselves. I was supposed to read a book with 20 in the title, and it did have 20 in the subtitle anyhow, so since I'm writing a memoir, I thought it was a good one for me to listen to. And then the last one that I read via audiobook this last month was The Mysterious Affair at Styles. And I actually finished that on November 2nd as I was waking up in the morning. That is an Agatha Christie novel. Also for a PopSugar reading prompt, I was supposed to read a book that was in a series of more than 20 books. And so Agatha Christie, as we know, wrote a lot of books. And so this brings us to the November TBR. I have no idea what I'm going to be reading this month, but I do have a few picked out that will help me with the PopSugar Reading Challenge prompts. And that's very important to me because I only have 8 more to finish. This is as close as I've ever gotten to finishing the PopSugar Reading Challenge, and I'm very motivated to do that, to set everything else on the back burner until I get my PopSugar reading challenge done. So the first one that I'm reading, this is an audiobook, Spinning Silver. And that is a fantasy, and I'm reading it because the PopSugar reading challenge prompt is to read something that has gold, silver, or bronze in the title. And I was surprised. I don't usually read fantasy books, but it really caught my imagination and drew me in the first chapter. I very much am enjoying it. It is written in first person. So the next one that I'm going to be reading in hardcover as soon as I finish Lincoln and the Bardo, which I'm pretty close to the end of, I'm going to be reading A Gentleman in Moscow for a PopSugar reading challenge prompt to read something set in the 1920s. And then the third one I didn't get to in October, but I do want to read it this month. It's Scary Stories for Young Foxes, a Newbery Honor book that I'm reading for the PopSugar reading challenge, also to read a book with more than 20 letters in the title. So those are my plans. Now for the life update. Well, this is my last night in the hotel room that the Red Cross provided for me after the fire. And as of tomorrow, I'll be going back to my hometown, and I will be looking for a cat because 51 days after the fire, one of my friends there photographed a cat that I believe is my missing cat. And I'm so excited about this. His name is Roby, and so that's my goal in life, to go find Roby. If he's out there, I want to give him a home, let him know that he's loved and not forgotten. And I guess that's all I have for a life update. I'll probably be making more videos in the future, but since I'm moving into my van, it could be difficult, and I'm going to have to find good sites to upload them. And that's all I know for now. So thank you for listening to my video. Hopefully I'll be speaking to you in another one very soon.